Welcome to Mendezville Live, with something to talk about. Here is Rudy Mendez. What's going on, Mendezville? What's going on, Mendezville? We got another show for you. Hopefully, we get some entertainment purposes here. So I'm informing the public, you know me. So, hey, Mendezville Live is in the house today, June 14th. We got a special guest. We're going stream. We're not going live today, person to person, but it's going to be some pretty good information. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. Voting's coming up in November, and then we got some other votes coming up in late July here for the city of Palmers. So without further ado, let's introduce my guest, running for mayor, Mr. Israel Silva. Mr. Israel Silva, how you doing, man?
Doing very good, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. To being part of this and trying to inform the public out here for the vote. There's a lot of things that you informed me about that I was not aware of.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully we can inform some people out there. Usually the way I like to start my show is we always go back in the resume, and I've usually have a lot of coaches or former athletes and go and talk about where they've been, what they've done to where they are now. That way people can have a good understanding. You came to my house. Currently you're running for mayor, correct?
Yes, sir.
For the city of Palmers.
Correct.
Let's start with, from my standpoint is always, if someone's running for mayor, they all obviously see a problem in the city that they can do better. That's my perspective. From your perspective, it's going to be a little bit different in the sense that you were on the council.
Correct.
So what did you do in the council before?
So I was a city commissioner for 12 years for the city of Palmhurst. We take vote on whatever comes on the agenda, and we've seen a lot of things throughout. I've seen a lot of things throughout the last 12 years. But I agree with you as far as reasons why somebody runs. So being on the council, I saw the good and the bad. I learned a lot from the previous mayor. I just, over the last couple of years, I wasn't in full agreement with what I was seeing and how the city was going. So, the next best thing to do was to run for mayor, which is what I'm doing now.
Well, then once you run for mayor, just so we can have an understanding, is when you decided to run for mayor, that puts you automatically, you're not on the board anymore.
So it depends. The law says that if you have less than a year to go, if you're a commissioner, you have less than a year to go, and the office comes up, because in our city it's staggered, which is like in most cities. So you'll have a mayor and a couple of commissioners run, and the following year you have commissioners run only. So in the case of mine, because I did run with the mayor 12 years ago, it coincided. So when his term was up, so was mine. So when his term was up for running, so was mine as well. But in this case, because I ran for mayor, then my seat was going to be vacant. So anyone again could run for that seat.
Okay. So then people ran for your seat, and they are obviously who. So who are the two new people that won that election?
So Salinas won. He had been the mayor pro tem for many years. He's been a city commissioner for probably over 20 years here in the city of Palmhurst. And then there was a new gentleman by the name of Hugo Gutierrez who decided to run, and he ended up winning. He went up against Mary Gonzalez, who was on my plate.
So we have a new person and someone that has been there for 20 plus years.
Yes, the majority of the council in the city of Palmhurst has been there over 20 years.
Okay. I want to say I'm happy with it, but I really don't know what goes on. I guess in the course of time, the reason I wanted to bring you up here is because when the voting came about, people were like, "Hey, you got to vote for," and may he rest in peace, the former mayor. They said the new guy Israel. I didn't know you. They were telling me, "No, man, this guy wants to cookie cutter, subdivide. And I was like, wait a minute, that's my favorite part, the big lots. And then they're talking about, well, they're trying to do a real estate agent, something about his girlfriend, and this and that. And I said, wait, and I went by that. I went by that, not knowing you, not knowing all the information. I just went by a source. You
Right.
come to my house. As a matter of fact, I found out that the person that you talked to the first time was my mom.
Yes,
She
sir.
was babysitting. She was babysitting my kids.
Yeah.
So when you come by, I said, you know what? Seeing that I was very misinformed,
Correct.
you need to come on the show. Some people are watching on Facebook. Some people can go catch it on YouTube. You will have access to it on YouTube. Share it with some people.
Well,
So we can share and people can be informed. Whether they vote for you or not, that is not my goal. My goal is to be informed when they do vote. I think the more information we have as voters, the better we are, the better off we are. It sends a this is what the community wanted with as much information that they had. You know what I mean?
exactly. I agree with you 100%.
So let's start with the rumors first. Did you want to get those cookie cutter subdivisions, less than half acres, quarter acres, third of an acre?
So let me respectfully correct you. You're talking about lies, not rumors, right? Because
Okay.
these were flat out lies.
Okay.
So I moved to Palmer's with my wife, who's passed away 6 years ago. We One of the reasons we moved was because it was 1 acre minimum, and we liked that. You know, we liked that. We liked that the city was had no ad valorem tax, so no property tax as well. Um, I actually, my dream home is on 5 acres, so I personally would want more property. I was trying to buy the property behind me when it was for sale at one point, but they beat me to it, because I want more property as well. Now I'm in a corner, ni modo. I have houses next to me, and it is what it is. They're good neighbors. I'm a good neighbor too. So, I like that the rooftops are not so close. You know,
Right.
yeah, that's something that was never the case. That's why I moved here. Why would I want to do what they were lying about?
So they also mentioned you're a real estate agent. Is that correct?
I do have a real estate license. I've only had it for about a year and a half. Yes,
Right.
but
But that wasn't part of the plan. It was just that's a side job that you have, whatever it may be.
yeah, I've been in the medical field for 30 years. I've had clinics from Laredo to Brownsville, so I know a lot of people. So it was just easy for me to get into that field because one, my girlfriend was already doing it, and she helped guide me some there too. But my forte is medical imaging. We have clinics. I have 3 clinics. We do MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, ultrasounds, vascular ultrasound, uh, things like that. So that's what I did when I was working at the hospitals. And then in around 2010, 2011, I left the hospitals and I started opening up radiology centers.
Okay, okay, nice. So you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Doing okay. I mean, I work hard every day. People don't see that, I wake up at 5:30, 6 in the morning and work till 1 a.m. Pero I love to do that. I'm a self-proclaimed workaholic, but I get to do things out of the house, which is fine. We have a big staff at the clinic, so they take care of us. They really, really do.
Good,
So
good, good to hear.
yeah, but the real estate stuff is just something that I do on the side. The word that people use is a side hustle right now. That's pretty common.
Right.
Um, but why not? Everybody's entitled to make their money as long as they make it fairly and they make it honestly. I don't care what they do.
Right. As long as you're doing honest things, that's fine.
Yeah,
And we all, I mean, nowadays with the internet and everybody's having some kind of side hustle, whatever it may be,
yes,
which
sir.
is perfectly normal. And I think if you don't have a side hustle, it's kind of difficult with inflation, all these things going on.
Absolutely.
So we set the record straight. You like the big lots.
Yes, for
You
sure.
are a real estate agent or you have a real estate license.
Correct.
Nothing wrong with that. That was my biggest one. That was my biggest one.
Okay.
Then I hear that the city of Palmer bought that 1 acre, or not that 1 acre. That
37.
one big, huge piece of property there on what street is that? Mayberry and
Yes,
Buddy Owens?
northeast corner of Mayberry and Buddy Owens. 37 acres.
37 acres. Can you inform us
37.
how much did we pay for that?
We paid about 2.1 million for that property.
2.1 million.
$2.1 million. Yes, sir.
37 acres. I wonder, do you by any chance? I guess there's two questions with that property. One, did you agree with that purchase?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you don't agree with that purchase, and that leads us into some other questions that we'll get to in a bit, or that I have planned.
Yes, sir.
But they did buy the property. Do you know what the plans are for that property?
So what I've been hearing and what the previous mayor and some of the council have discussed was to put a city hall there, to put
Okay,
that property.
which is not a bad thing. I think I'm a for a city hall. I've been to our current city hall. It's kind of a little tight, a little small.
Mhm.
I don't know if we need 37 acres for it.
I agree. 37 acres is a lot.
Maybe what? 3 acres, 5 acres?
Yeah, we're on less than 2 acres now. So
So then a good 4 acres would have sufficed. Maybe, I don't know. But
yeah.
then that goes back to, what are the plans? Do you know?
So during the last couple of meetings that I was privy to, um, the council had voted on getting an engineer to start working or drawing out some plans for a new city hall. Um, but at this point, the city hall could probably cost somewhere around $3+ million. Is what I've been hearing. I could be wrong, but yeah, it's something like that.
New city hall is going to cost money. It's going to be a little bit bigger, I'm assuming. I really would be interested in the floor plans and seeing if there's like a park going to be involved, somewhere to walk around, some swings, ambulance, fire department. Who knows? Another thing is, how does that get paid for? Who pays for that? How do we get that money?
Well, that's one of the reasons that I voted against it, because infrastructure right now, at least for subdivisions, it's probably running between $60,000 to $80,000 an acre. So my thoughts were, okay, so we have 4.5 million in the bank. That's what we have, cash money in the bank, the city of Palmhurst. We were going to
Right,
spend right over $2 million of that money just to purchase property, purchase land, 37 acres.
right.
And and then what was going to happen? Where are we going to get the money to put in another building infrastructure that's going to be somewhere around 3 million from for that city hall? I just didn't see it. I just thought it was way too much property. So so again, I was against that purchase because I just thought it was way too much land. Now, when you have commissioners or you have council people that have certain specialties, um, in my case, it's medical imaging. In my case, in comparison to the others that are there, is having a real estate license. Although I'm new to it, but I'm 50 years old, so I've been around the block. Um, I looked at other properties that were out there that were a lot less, that were
Hmm.
$1 million less, that were 15 acres, 20 acres, 22 acres, and so forth. And I had brought those. I made copies of all those properties. I took them to our council, mayor, city manager, and I said, "Look, guys, why do we have to spend 32.2 million approximately to purchase 37 acres when we have 15, 17 acres here that are $1 million less? We don't have to be in a prime corner that could maybe one day be commercial, so that we can gain a sales tax revenue out of it, uh, so that we can have something that's going to provide for the city versus something that's going to cost us,
Right.
you know.
More something that's going to make money, an asset
Yeah.
from the sales tax revenue.
But they didn't let me present that. They didn't let me present those 5 properties. They said we've
Isn't
already.
there a procedure that you're supposed to follow for that? They're supposed to let you, or what's going on there?
Well, yeah, typically, any agenda that
Whoa, time out, time out. Israel, you blanked out.
yes,
Sorry. There you
somebody
go. You're good.
somebody calling from. So typically, um, the law says that anytime you have a meeting, you have to announce it to the public 3 days prior. Okay,
Hmm.
so it was easy for our city attorney to say, well, you can't present them because that wasn't discussed, that wasn't part of the agenda, and you just can't present them. So it wasn't presented. The vote went the way it did, and the land was purchased. The land was purchased, but many things that I was against was one. Even though we're not obligated as a city or as a commission to take it out to the public and say, hey guys, we're going to spend this money. What do you guys think? I requested for that. I wanted to have a town hall so that we can invite citizens like you, your mom, your neighbors to come and say, hey guys, how do you guys feel of Palmhurst spending 40 some percent of what we have in our savings to purchase 37 acres of property, you know?
Right.
And they just said, no, we don't need to do that. I said, I understand, but let's do it anyway. Let's be transparent. Let's let the people know what's going on. That was never done. That was never ever done. People to this day do not know. I
No, I'm sure they don't.
The last person I spoke to, right, at 8:40 this evening, I asked, "Did you know we made that land purchase?" They said no. He said no. I did not know.
So
You
that
know?
purchase gets made.
Yes,
You
sir.
say no, you vote no, you present. See, my thing that bothers me personally on that whole situation is I get it. We vote for you guys to trust in you that
Exactly.
you're going to make a decision, and people vote. And if the board, whether it's 3-2, whatever it is, because not all the votes are going to be 100% unanimous.
Correct.
And that's fine. That's democracy at its finest.
Hmm.
We trust you to do that. But sometimes in good faith, whether they wanted to present it to us or not, fine. I get that part. But why not look at other options that could have saved us money and maybe out for bid, square foot and now you talk about pricing per acre. Do we need that much land? How much money are we going to spend on 37 acres? The infrastructure is going to be built on it. I mean, I can see the good in it. I can see the good in it. And they vote, and you guys as a commission voted for it.
Hmm.
But were there other options where, like you said, and those options were not taken into consideration? That's the part that I don't like. That those options were not taken into consideration.
Correct. Yes. Now the price per acre was a decent deal. I agree
Mhm.
that it was a decent deal.
The 37 acres.
But yes, but my disagreement was for many things. We didn't take it to the public. It's too much property. We already own 20 acres of property that is just sitting there.
Where?
We own 10 acres across the Sherry Mansion that we purchased from UTRGV years ago, and then we own another 10 acres close to Los Ebanos over here off of 3 Mile, and that property is just sitting there. So
Oh, yeah, in the corner lot
so
across the convenience store.
that was something else that I brought up. I'm like, hey
So the
guys.
city owns that?
Yes, sir. I said if we're gonna spend this much money, then let's get rid of those properties because those are. I mean, it's not really an asset per se, but they're just sitting there. We're not doing anything with that property, And again, those were just things that I was throwing out that could be done, but that were not done.
Let's take time to inform the public. You mentioned the 10 acres that we own across the mansion over there on Sherry Road. Is that supposed to be our city park,
Well,
or it just get used during the Christmas holidays?
so approximately 4 or 5 years ago, my dates are going to be off a little bit, but we had approved about $300,000 so that we could start with a jogging trail, walking trail, and start fixing that park up, making it pretty, poquito a poquito.
Right.
And if you go there now, it's still under lock and key. The gate is there. It's not open during the day, and it used to say no trespassing, but that sign has been removed. But that's there. It's the you
It's not
mentioned,
open
well,
to the
maybe are
public.
we going to put a park in front of that potential city hall, etc. Yeah, that's kind of been the possibility that that a master plan is being done with a park in front of that. Now, again, I'm against that because that park is not going to bring the city any revenue. We don't charge a property tax. I would
Right.
never want to impose a property tax.
So you
I,
you don't want property taxes.
no, no, no. I moved here because there was none. So I would never want to impose a property tax. Not that I can as a mayor, because I can't. Again, I don't vote, so I couldn't make it happen, right?
Oh, in
But
our city, the mayor doesn't have a vote when things come up to vote.
the law says that only if there's a tie, the mayor will vote. And
Okay.
that I've been on the council, the mayor never voted.
Hmm.
So the mayor does not have the power to make it happen. So when these lies were being told to you and most of the city that Israel wanted to do this and that and this and that, what I tell citizens now is like they think you're a fool because we are so non-transparent that makes the citizens somewhat naive. So when they tell you these lies, and then I come and I approach them and I educate them, they're like, "What do you mean you can't do that?" Well, no, a mayor cannot do that. He doesn't have that power. The
Yeah.
mayor doesn't vote. They're like, "Oh my God." So why are they saying you're going to do this and that if it's physically and legally impossible? And then they start thinking, "Oh, these people that we've trusted for 20 years are directly lying to me about what you want to do."
20. You're
So
right. You're right. One of them has been there for 20 years. Give me a sec. I
no,
gotta
no, no,
move. Keep going.
three of
Inform them.
yeah, yes, sir. So again, that's those are basically those are facts, and me walking around talking to people, telling them, educating them on what's really been going on. Then they get to understand, and they freak out. Like again, like another citizen today, told me he didn't know about that land purchase.
Yeah, no, 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 we didn't. So
Yeah.
that's a hot topic, the land purchase. Uh the money for that, is that all from the sales tax from the
Yes.
revenue comes in from the 3 Mile Line and Conway there?
100%.
Well, that's good. That way we don't have to do no property tax, which is what we don't want. No, no, I don't think any of us want property taxes. That's
No,
one thing that I
no,
boast about to people is that well, I don't pay property taxes on my city tax. I don't pay city tax.
yeah, we pay enough ISD taxes. We pay county taxes. We pay SEC taxes.
Man,
The citizens of McAllen, I believe, a couple of days ago, McAllen ISD just decided to raise the taxes for the citizens of McAllen. You know,
man, that's tough.
that's tough. It's right now. Times are very, very tough. Very,
I
very.
posted on Facebook I posted on oh, really quick. Anyone listening, if you can just comment if the sound is pretty good. Sometimes I don't have a producer, so if you could just comment that you guys can hear us loud and clear. But I posted on Facebook how okay, all these property taxes, these appraisals, they all went up.
Mhm.
So now me being an educator, me being a former junior high coach, I expect a lot more money in our football fields, extracurriculars from fine arts to anything that goes on for all districts because all districts get money from all the appraisal property taxes that they get. And it's tough right now with all the inflation. So we talked about this property that got bought. You voted no, you presented stuff, they didn't give you a chance. Fine. I'm with you on that one. Kind of to a certain degree, depending on the money, there is money, but it could have been a bit more, could have bought less for more, plenty of space. Is there, during your tenure in the commission, can you go through some stories, some history of what you've seen that's good and how we've grown? Israel, Mike, check. Can you hear me?
So, it cut off a little bit, but
Yeah.
since
Oh,
since
okay.
I've been there, the 12 years, I think I'm going to answer the question correctly. So since I've been there, we have increased our net funding uh, about 10 to 12%, 10 to 15% per year, más o menos.
How do we do that?
You know, by bringing more business to the city,
Okay.
or I don't want to take credit for that or as much credit, but a lot of these, if you live here, you don't pay an ad valorem tax. You don't pay part of it. But if you're a business here, you don't pay it either. You,
Hmm.
businesses are not charged property tax either, whether it's the property itself or the furniture and fixtures. So there's no, so we that helps us a lot, and that's why we got HEB and Walmart here.
Nice.
Not
Oh,
that
I
somebody
love it.
busy saying, "Hey, you know what? Come over." No, that unfortunately that wasn't the case. They do their due diligence and
Right.
they come over, and then you have all these other stores that come in, and I want to keep growing that. I want to create an EDC. EDC allows the city to get a piece of the sales tax revenue money for infrastructure. Uh,
Let's elaborate on EDC. Are you talking about Economic Developmental Committee?
Economic Development Corporation.
Corporations. Okay.
So basically, by with the size of the city of Palmhurst, it's under 10,000. So basically, if we create an EDC, which would take approximately, it'll take one full quarter. So let's say we started we started in May, then it won't take effect until the third quarter of the year. It'll be 5 months because you have to go through one full quarter.
Right.
But if you have an EDC, it allows you to apply for grants, to fund things like a city hall, to fund
Nice.
like a police department, to fund things like infrastructure. That's one of the things that it'll help you with. So I'll be more than happy to work with the council if we can find the money from somewhere else to build a city hall. I'm more for law enforcement than anything. They've been in a manufactured home shoot for many years already, um, and it's actually a code violation. People don't know that. The year before the police department started, or before that manufactured home became got to where it's at, there was an ordinance that was passed that saying no manufactured homes can be in the city of Palmers.
Hmm.
So, the police department is breaking an ordinance because that's where they're at. Of course, and people don't know that. People
Right.
don't know that, but it's a fact. So I would love for them to. I would love to get them out of there. We don't have a jail. We
Hmm.
take people to mission. That's where we do, and then we pay a fee for that.
Right.
I'm not saying create a big jail, but you could do 1 or 2 rooms. If you need to keep someone here for half a day, or over the weekend, etc. We don't have that luxury. We have to take these. We have to take these people to mission.
I
Uh,
guess the question there would be what the offsetting cost is. It do we really get that many people that need to be in jail, or is it fine the way we are right now, where we just take them down the road?
no, I mean it's fine, but it's something that we could also do. If you're going to create a police station, well, you create
Oh yeah, of course, like a holding cell. I get you.
yeah, it's just a holding cell. That's all it is. Nothing major.
Right.
Um,
This is small.
but that's one of the reasons I want a EDC, because it'll help us apply for grants for structures that are going to be part of the city. Because I don't want to use the money that we have now that's coming in through the sales tax to build the city hall. I'm so against it, but I'll be more than happy to work with the council if they themselves can help find grants for something like this. I'm okay with that, but I don't want to take it away from um, from the revenue that's already coming in, because I'd rather use that for other infrastructure, simple things, sidewalks, lights, street repairs, streets.
Now
Uh,
that you Go ahead, keep going. Lights, sidewalks, streets.
We could start looking at natural gas. We have maybe five businesses that have natural gas right now, but we have natural gas all around our city. We have sewer all around our city as well.
Mhm.
There's some homes that do have sewer here in the city, very few. Um, but again, we could maybe finally start working on the park that we have,
Those are some good ideas.
sidewalks. I'm big on lights because that's, when you guys vote us into office, part of what we're committing to you guys is that we're going to protect you guys in any way that we can. You know, that's number one.
Hold on, you're cutting off a little bit. Hold on. Yeah,
Um,
there you go.
and by putting lights out there, that would deter some of the uh, some of the potential crime that we can get. The city of Mission, if you go down Stewart, Bryan, Mayberry, they have a light approximately every point 0.1 of a mile. But then
Hmm.
you come north of 2 3/4, nombre, they're
Dark.
very they're dark. Here on Glasscock, where I live, or I live off of Glasscock, I think we have five lights and only three of them work.
No, pues no.
And but I see a lot of that. I see a lot of the citizens. They put up their own lights, but there's ways that we can start doing that, and all of this needs to be done in a fiscally responsible way. I don't want to spend the 2.5 we have in the bank and let's buy a bunch of lights. No, 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 no. That's not how it's going to work. We gotta slowly create a 1 year plan, 3 year plan, 5 year plan, a
D-
20. Right
Does
now
the
we have,
commissioner come into play to help us with money in some of the infrastructure projects?
they can if they get involved. Yes.
Well, isn't that the commissioner's office job to get involved in all the cities?
It is, but for the most part, what I was told is basically to stand down and just to let our city manager take care of those things. And I'm
Mm.
about being a team player. You talked about being in sports. I mean, I played basketball. I'm 6'2". I was pretty decent. Class of '89, McCallum Memorial. But,
Mustang.
Mustangs, but I was 155 pounds back in the day, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. We all were. We were all the no bellies.
After high school, I would go. I would play. Pues I would play at the college, and then I would play with the McAllen PD at midnight.
Nice.
Midnight,
I
midnight.
remember those days. We all had those. If you were a baller, we all had those days in our mid 20s.
But I want to be a proactive mayor, and for the most part, we've uh, this is not the exact word, but kind of told to stand down, you know, let the city manager take care of
Hey,
things.
there's no standing down, man. Hey, right now we're on Mendezville Live. Every Villarreal city commissioner or county commissioner, hey, help us out over here in City of Palmers. Let's go.
Hey,
I'm gonna
hey,
tag him. I'm gonna video tag.
hey,
Call ever. We need your help over here. Es cierto.
bro, Evid has done an amazing job, and I told that to him in his face.
They
Uh,
came in over here for a barbecue one time during the campaign.
one time that we were giving out, we were helping him give out some sacks of food, and
Mm,
I appreciate what he's actually done for the county when it comes to building some of the infrastructure that he's working on. He's out there, se está moviendo el guy. He's been
yeah.
doing a good job when it comes to that, and I appreciate that. And in the past, when the city of Palmers has done work on streets, roads, etc., typically the way it gets paid is that um, the commissioner helps us with labor and equipment, and the city of Palmers puts in the material. And
Okay.
that's how we've played it. So we appreciate, Ever, of course, that's now, and Joe
And
Flores
Jeff
back in
Flores
the
in the
day.
past.
He
Yeah.
did a good job as well, también. When it comes to that. So, but I want to be proactive. I want to get things done, and again, apply for grants. There's tons of grant funding out there. Some of the COVID money that was being sent down. I'm not fully in agreement, but some of that
Time out.
could be used
Something's
for
going
infrastructure.
on with my internet. I need
Okay,
faster internet here.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here too. I just don't know what's going on, but Quién sabe qué pasaría. All right, here we're going. We're good. We're good. It's a home show, so sometimes we're gonna have some interruptions. This ain't no professional NBC stuff.
It's okay.
All right, so we got that stuff. You got the net funding. You want to use money for our infrastructure. What are the good things while you were in council? Can you talk about that? Were pretty good for us.
Well, as one citizen once told me, the city needs to what was the term that he used? Oh my goodness, the city has to move forward. The city has to continue growing, and we need to be ready for some of that growth. Um, but I want to bring in more business. I want to bring another big box store. I'd love to have a Lowe's
Oh man, un
or
Home
or,
Depot,
or
Lowe's, that'd be nice.
I have talked to Mott's Cash and Carry. They told me no, and this is just me on my own. Nobody's told me to do it, but
Right, right.
I said, hey guys, I think corporate's in San Antonio. At least that's where they called me back from. But they said no because they had one too close to Palmhurst, and then I talked to that's McCoy's, and I talked to Mott's Cash and Carry. Unfortunately, before it burned down, and they said, hey, you know what, we consider it. Actually, one of the owners of Mott's is going to be a new Palmhurst resident as
Oh,
well.
there you go.
Um, so, but yeah, I mean, if we could get a big box store like that, that would just really do a lot for the city, and
Right.
that some of the growth that it'll help bring more restaurants because those things are big box stores. They attract a lot of
Yeah,
people, and then you have the other smaller businesses that also benefit from that.
for sure, for sure. I mean, I'm a big fan of living 5 minutes away from Walmart and HEB, Taco Palenque, all those Pizza Hut, Applebee's. It's great. I'm so glad I picked this area because coming from living in San Antonio, then Los Angeles, I was like, man, this is real quick. Boom, I está todo en caliente. And then if I need to go to McAllen to Boys and Girls Club, I go down the road, Mission Boys and Girls Club, because I'm a coach. I have 3 kids. The extracurriculars, I'm a big fan of. So
Great,
we
great.
want more stuff coming in. What holds us back from getting all those stores? Is it on their end?
I can tell you what I've been told, and then
Mm,
what I tell citizens. Um, I think that as a city, we need to be a little friendlier to businesses and to our own citizens as well. And what I've gotten calls from real estate agents, from developers, from brokers, is that their calls go unanswered at City Hall, and
mm,
I don't know what the reason is, but I want to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. Um, on my card that I gave you, it has my cell number.
right.
I'm here to talk to whoever needs to talk. No me escondo. There's no reason to. So, I want to create some sort of liaison for businesses, for the most part, to either help us bring more in or help the ones that are here grow even more. You know,
For sure. Maybe an email with a bunch of people CC. That way it's at least 10 people that know, way this
yeah,
business is interested. Forget a
yeah,
phone call, an
yes.
email, and everybody knows. I mean,
You know,
this is just me thinking out of the box.
in my business, I have a sign on the wall that if you're waiting more than a certain time, to call me. And I have 3 clinics. We fortunately do well, but I don't like patients to be there sitting, wasting time, basically. You know,
Man, I hate waiting in the
yeah.
waiting room, man.
And I was gonna go somewhere ahorita, but I was gonna say that the world it's a faster pace. We move faster now, right?
Oh man,
So people are less patient. Our kids are extremely less patient.
big time.
um, and that's okay. But so I have signs at my business say, "Hey, if you're waiting here more than so long, call me." And my phone is on there. Only my phone is on there.
Mm,
So I want to do the same with the city. Hey, if you have issues, call me. You know, I like the chain of command, but I want to have an open door policy. Again, I want to be a proactive mayor as well. So I want to call businesses. I want to We did an interview. I don't know what Channel 4, I believe, and one of the things I said on the interview is that one of the things I want to let the public know is that Palmer's is open for business. Is open for business. So um, because I saw that the times there that people are a little more impatient. We're living in a faster world. So now if you go north and south on Glasscock and Stewart and even across 3 4 mile line, speed limit is 40 now, right? So I was the one that was pushing for that because driving 30 miles an hour, there's no kids, there's no houses. It feels like it takes you
Yeah.
get wherever you want to get.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
sure.
So we got the net funding. You want more businesses? We all figure out a way to make it easier for them to communicate with us.
Yes, sir.
What things in your voting that happened that you disliked in the past?
Well, for the most part, our council has always gotten along. Maybe initially when I first got in, it wasn't, but it did. We came we became one per se, and really it wasn't until the last couple of years. But for the most part, we would always uh, vote. It was a unanimous vote for the most part. That's how it was for probably 10.5 years of my 12 years that I was on there. We had discussions and we agreed to disagree at times, which is okay.
Which is
That's the
perfectly
democratic,
fine.
right? But I just saw that some of these decisions over the last year and a half, 2 years, they were majorly impactful to the city, to the citizens, and I just couldn't. I couldn't live with that anymore. I couldn't deal with that anymore.
Can you give us some examples?
Uh, well, obviously the land purchase was huge.
Right.
That was one thing that the other people are try to get me on is the ambulance services that we've had here in the city of Palmers. Um, you know, no ambulance company is perfect, but we have had issues here with the current ambulance service that we do have, and
Mm.
we've had it in the past. Maybe up 10 years ago, I was already trying to push for the city itself to have a contract with an ambulance provider, whatever provider it is. Um, and we didn't. We would depend on the county, and of course, the county is it's a big county. It's a big precinct, so we really didn't have. We would just depend. We were part of a rural area. That's what we were considered per se
Mm.
when it came to those kind of services. Um, and I think we should demand a better service here within the city of Palmhurst, and I don't feel that we have it right now. We don't.
So let's deep, just for the citizens themselves. What? Who serves us? What ambulance
So
company?
right now we have the city of FAR. FAR EMS is our service provider for the city
City.
of yeah. The basically Palmhurst signed a contract with the city. Sorry, Palmer signed a deal with the county with a precinct, and the precinct had signed a contract with the city of FAR.
So they take. I'm assuming they take a long time. It takes them time to get where they need to be here in Palmers. Does it cost us a lot of money? Are we in the negatives? Is there
No,
something
at,
cheaper,
at,
something
at,
better quality?
at this point, we're not. The city is not paying for any type of ambulance services. A lot of people don't really understand the way the 911 system works. You know, it's
I
it's
know I
it,
don't.
it's a delicate system, um, but uh, what happens is whenever you have a 911 call, it goes to a dispatch. Now, between cities and counties, you have different people dispatching, or if you call 911 and it's a issue with an ambulance service, but you call PD here in Palmers, well, they're going to forward it to the ambulance provider, to send the first of all to speak to the caller, but as well to send a unit over to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. So a lot of people don't really understand how that works. Um, but I think that we could be doing better as a city if we had uh, a provider that could pay a little bit more attention to us than what we've been getting over the last year.
So then you would think. So then you're talking about not about shopping around for better service, or
It
not in the sense service, but someone who'd be faster in the sense of time
Well,
getting
what the council that you have now and the mayor, they were okay with signing a contract that said that we were gonna be okay with a 20-minute response time, meaning that that ambulance provider was had a window of 20 minutes to get to the 911 call 90% of the time. And I was not okay with it. Why? Simply put, the national average is less than 8 minutes.
there. Oh
You know,
wow!
cities in the Hidalgo County have an 8 minute response time.
So then we could. So then we could do better.
We can do better. We
We
can do
can do
better.
better.
So it's all about comparing apples to apples. Let's see who's going to provide the best service, and let's go that route. Um, as in many businesses, you should have the liberty to pick and choose who is gonna. You need to let free enterprise reign, because if you do that, you get competitiveness and you get the best product for the most part. You know,
Right? Which is that's what we live in this country.
it's a free country. You
Right?
able to pick and choose.
Capitalism at its finest.
Absolutely,
I'll
absolutely.
tell you what, though. I know the ambulance thing was a big deal in the city of Palm U when they had their own ambulances. Some people say they're negative. Some people say they don't. I don't know who to believe. I know. I last I heard they were servicing the city of Alton. I don't know how that's going.
They
Maybe
they
that'd be an option.
they pulled out of the city of Alton
Alton.
in November, I believe. No, October, between October and December of last year, they pulled out of
Mm.
Alton.
I wonder how that's going over there for them. So that's one other thing. The ambulances. What's another thing of you as mayor wanting to be mayor? Would see yourself as ideas coming in for moving forward?
I mean, simply put, we need to start looking at our infrastructure. We have none. We have none. I've been told by certain people on planning and zoning that have said, "Hey, we never planned for anything. We don't have a 3 year plan, 5 year plan, 10 year plan. The city has
Right.
no plan. If you call right now, hey, what are you planning on doing about the infrastructure?"
About what, Ted? Again, you cut off here, Israel.
There are no plans for anything. So we need to start planning on things,
You
because
Israel, time out.
as we get more
You cut
citizens
off
coming
when you
in,
said
we need to be able to provide better services to those citizens.
right. I'm sorry. You cut off when you said if you call right now, there's a plan, and then you cut off a little bit.
You're cutting off a little bit.
So am I. It's the internet service.
Okay.
Interesting.
So yeah, we need to plan for the future. Right now we have no plan. There's no plan to do sewer, no plan to do
The internet's off. You're off. You're off video. Spectrum. We need the other wire. So Earl's out for a sec. Don't worry, I'll entertain. I'll tell you what, we had Israel here when he came down and did his walk, talked to me a little bit. So he shared some stories with me about what he had done, what he saw. The biggest thing is the 37 acres. I will say the 37 acres sounds nice. That big area, maybe a big city hall, fire department, ambulance. And you see that, and you're like, oh, that's what it should look like. But do we really need that? Seeing that is right down the road, McAllen's right down the road. I don't know. Me personally, I don't think we need it at this point, or if we ever will, or if we ever will. Um, Maybe a fire department or city hall for sure, police department for sure. Do we need the 37 acres? Maybe not just for the city hall and just for the police department. You add a little fire department with a fire truck, maybe one. How often do we have fires? I don't know. Those are data stats that the city has to keep, county has to keep, maybe different fire departments in the area. Then we talk about 37 acres and I'm a big, recreational guy. Are you going to have parks there, fields for people? I know right now the church right here on Stewart, I know, you know, I go there and train my kids. The La Uni, the some soccer club trains. I know the Boys and Girls Club, City of Mission, they started their soccer program. So then that went big. Um, I mean, it was packed. It was packed about 3 weeks ago, right before the Boys and Girls Club summer soccer started. It was packed there. Recently, there's a fifth and sixth grade football team practicing there. Then we have some people that just go play recreational flag football on the weekends. So I think one of the things from that 37 acres, I hope there's plenty of field space for people just to go play. Not necessarily please do not. Please, please, City of Palmers. If you're planning on this 37 acres to have field space for parks, do not build baseball fields. There are plenty of baseball fields within the city of Mission, city of Alton, McAllen. Please do not add baseball fields. Now, do we need just fields for people to play soccer, ultimate frisbee? Sorry, I just came in from Austin and people play ultimate frisbee there. I played it. I like it. Soccer, flag football. I think we need that. I think baseball, I don't know. I just don't like it. Sorry, Israel. I went off on a tangent. I just, entertain people and sorry. I took you off. I was trying to take myself off. There you go.
I lost you.
There you go.
That's okay. I lost you for
Huh?
a little bit. I lost you for a little bit.
Yeah, no
I
worries,
lost
no
you
worries.
for a
I started talking about the plan of 37 acres. It's good. Could we have used something smaller? Yes. But now I'm talking about if they are going to go through with it, please do not add baseball fields, just field space because I was talking about how here on Stewart and Buddy Owens, that church, that field, it gets used by so many different teams and kids and boys and girls clubs and whatever it is. I know I'm one of them. The kids, there's always kids at that park, at the playground. Maybe we need more of that. I know I'm a big fan of McAllen, where they have an ordinance or something where for so many homes, they need so many square footage of a park, stuff like that, where people can just go play. Then I come from Austin the other day. My brother's living up there. We go out there to Zeker Park and all these parks, and people just play. People just exercise. So that was my tangent while you were gone, just filling you in on that. Okay. So we got the City of FAR ambulance. We talked about that. Other things that you see where the city needs to grow from the past experiences you've had.
Again, we don't have a chamber of commerce either. That could help bring
That's
business
the chamber
to
of
the
commerce
city as well.
That's different from EDC, correct?
That is different from EDC. Yes, sir. Yes.
Chamber of commerce be good.
It's important that the citizens understand that we need to get revenue from somewhere, so that we can do more for them and more for the city itself. So where are we going to get that revenue? It's got to come from sales tax or
Right.
grants. But
Right.
definitely, I don't want it to come from a tax.
Wait, but when you're in the chamber of commerce, those are different positions than being on the council for the city, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense because I think if you're on the council and then you're in the chamber, pues, there's a conflict of interest when you're making decisions. But
It can, like, for example, with the EDC, because of the size of the city, Palmhurst, you can have seven board members, 7 members, and 3 of the members actually have to be citizens that do not work for the city.
oh, there you
Or,
go.
yeah, so 4 can be from the city and 3 from the citizens. And as me going out talking to people, I want people to get involved. I want to be transparent because I want people to know what's really going on. Because if you don't like a decision that Israel made or any of the council members or Israel said something y'all don't like, then it's important that you guys see what we're saying, see what we're doing, and if you don't like us, get us out the next session. You know.
You, you're absolutely right. You know, that word transparency gets thrown out a lot. And I've been, I got in the mix with the Ever campaign, then the city of Palmview over there. I don't mess with La Jolla SD because I work for La Jolla SD. I don't want to get fired for my opinions. But transparency, okay, transparency, everybody's transparent. Time out. What are you talking about being transparent? How are you going to be transparent? And this is the way I wish, even at the national level, even at the state level, hey, you know what? 37 acres, $2.1 million. How did you vote? How did you vote? That way,
Exactly.
I want to know. To me, transparency is, for me, number one is, how is everybody voting according to how you're spending the money of the city? We're
Correct.
trusting you to make the best decisions with the money that's in your hands.
Yes, sir.
That's me. Rika
Exactly.
has it on her boards too about being transparent.
Yeah, her and I have had discussions before, and we both feel strongly about the transparency because we haven't had it in 58 years. You know, Alton, Palmview, Mission, McAllen, you can get home from a long day of work, and if it's not your night to do podcasts, you can see what they're doing at City Hall. You can see the decisions that they're making, but with Palmhurst, you can't. Palmhurst doesn't announce our when our meetings are. The only place they put them, we have a glass bulletin board right side of City Hall, and that's
I've
where
seen
it
it.
goes. That's it. It's not on Facebook. It's not on Facebook.
Where everybody travels. Facebook is the number one
Yeah,
spot
it
before
only says
Meta takes over.
Happy Secretary's Day, Happy Birthday, Commissioner Israel, and those aren't as important as what the citizens, um, uh, I guess, really care about.
Yeah, the
So yeah,
decisions, how are you spending our money? What's being
that
done?
I want to I want to send out a letter, a newsletter, a quarterly, biannually, depending on
Updates.
the cost, updating you guys because it's not what I don't like. I want the city to be uh, to come to you and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Not, hey, Israel, what's going on today? I want to be able to provide that to you.
Right. I'm 100% with you on that.
You guys are busy. You do what you do. You come home late at night,
Yeah.
and why do you have to pick up the phone and call me? Hey, let me tell you what's going on.
Yeah,
This is
little
what
bulletin. I see it. I'm like, oh, look, these 5 things, cool. And that's it.
exactly, and that's how it should be, and that's how it should be in every city,
Every
because
city. Every
every
city, not just Palmer's. I completely agree.
every city. But Palmer's has been calladitos
So you want to
for
change that, which
a
is
long time.
good. Everybody says they want to change that. I will say when the recordings of the meetings are good, um, I don't know. I don't know how many people actually watch the entire meeting because sometimes you get bored. But I think the bulletin or a little postcard, like, "Hey, this is what was voted on. This is what we're doing." That'd be great. You know,
I'm even okay.
Facebook page. Go
I'm
ahead.
okay with posting the minutes of the meetings that we had, because
Nice.
if it's too long, then go ahead and do it. Let's
Just
let's
post
let's
it.
let's let it out there.
Yeah. Then we read it. I start, voila, boom. What happened? This is
Yeah,
the way they voted.
you
There.
you you know during the last election, and even now, I carry a book, and I have a lot of our meeting minutes in there because you said rumors. I call them liars and lies. They come out here talking to citizens, lying directly to you about things that I want to do or things that I've said, etc. And then I have carried my minutes here, and I open the book and I go, I never said that. This is exactly what I said.
There you go.
Like that. But I go even further. I go, this is where the mayor said he had no changes to those minutes. So that people say, "Oh, I didn't type it up," or he typed it up. It's like, no, look, the mayor approved them with no changes, as the council did because we vote on that,
Right.
and then here are the minutes. Aquí está. So they're telling you that I said this. That's not true.
It's right
Somebody else.
there. Everybody
You
signed.
know? And it's gotten me out of I don't know, not a bind, but it's gotten me out of. Uh, I've been able to convince people a lot easier because they're like, "Oh my God, well, they're
Yeah,
not."
it's credibility. It's credibility.
That's all it is. That's all it is. You know. So I carry a little notebook with me.
Cool, cool, cool. Anything else I'm missing that you want to talk about that I might not know or any citizen?
You know, we're a great city. We've done well. We're doing better. I think we've missed on tons of opportunities to make the city um, even more beautiful. I want to keep the 1 acre home sites. I
The
don't care for
best. The
apartments.
best.
Um, I don't want. I don't even want to mention property taxes at all, or ever bring them
Mm-mm.
up, or ever discuss them. I want to be a proactive mayor. I want to make sure that citizens are able to call me and talk to me if they have a question, if they have an issue. I want to be able to be the problem solver if they call City Hall and they can't get through, or they don't get a call back. Want to have an open door policy. Um, Absolutely be fiscally responsible, right? But the city has had a lot of missed opportunities to bring in more revenue, and I think it's time that changes. You know, so when people say, "Oh, you know," another gentleman was sending out texts about, "Oh, that Israel wants to fundamentally change Palmhurst," and do this and do that. Um, and the fundamental promise is no property tax, is 1 acre home sites.
For
Aside
sure.
from that, we're a typical city, like we're a typical city without typical city issues, because we don't have sewer, we don't have fire here. There's other things that we don't have that other cities help us with. um,
The
but
trash. What's that
I
about?
trash. I want to maybe start with some sort of recycling plan, get with the city of McAllen. Um, a lot of the commissioners from Mission, I'm close to Villalobos, commissioners from McAllen, commissioners from Alton. Of course, they're all around us, right? So
Hmm.
I've had discussions with them about doing things together collectively, potentially even doing something because Alton taps into McAllen Sewer, and maybe potentially doing something collectively with Alton again in the future,
In the
planning for
future.
things to maybe put a sewer plant, um, but not in Palmer's. Put it in Alton. Alton's not landlocked like Palmer's is,
Yeah.
so put it out there. They have more ranchitos where all of that can be taken care of, but do it collectively to provide more services for the citizens of Palmer's.
Great points. Let me touch on a point you said. When you say, and I think that this needs to be, this is the way I see it. When you talk about we need to bring in more, stores or for revenue, right? So yes, some people might be able to twist and he just revenue money hungry. Time out. How about we see? Because this is the way I see it. You're talking about bringing in, like you said, you talk to Matt's Cash and Carry, McCoy's, Lowe's, Home Depot. Maybe those are too big. But when you say the word revenue, I see a lot easier for me as a citizen in this area to go shop. That's the way I see it. When you say you're bringing in revenue, yes, you're going to make my life easier instead of me having to go all the way to Sherry Road to go to Home Depot.
That's a
You're going to
point.
make my life easier instead of having to go to all the way somewhere else for a restaurant. I can go right here.
Yes, sir.
By bringing in revenue, you're going to make my life easier to go shopping because I'm going to go shopping anyways. I
And
might do it right down the road.
correct. And because again, the way Palmer sits, we can easily take advantage. We are in one of the fastest growing areas in the whole
Oh,
nation. The whole nation, you know, Palmview, Alton, Mission, growing great, growing huge to the west. Well, where do those people shop? They're going to come shop in Palmhurst.
oh,
You
I'm
know
sure people that live near a 3 mile line in the middle between Palmview and us, they come this way.
exactly. So I want to
Alton, they come to Walmart.
Yes, sir. So I want to bring more business not just to facilitate things for the citizens, but we need to take advantage that all this is a very highly populated area, and it's gonna keep going. So, but who's gonna do it faster? If
Yeah,
we move it, then we can take full advantage of that and make Palmhurst prosper even more. You know, but
for sure.
if Alton put something that, and I get along with them, great. But if they put something that is going to take our citizens to go shop over there, well, then the city is losing revenue. You know, so
Juniors, las
uh,
fajitas, todo
well, see,
especial.
they're good, but maybe, hey, maybe Junior wants. Maybe I'll call Junior because, hey, Junior, we don't pay property tax here, bro. You're going to save money. You know, so that's the
Maybe.
idea. Bring in more business, make it more uh, uh, easier on the citizens of Palmers, but because that revenue is going to be coming in, we're going to get Mission, Palmview,
It's a win-win.
Alton, McAllen to shop in Palmhurst. We can make it a little, shopping mecca. But people are going to say, "Oh, what do you mean?" No, just make it somewhere something that we can provide more businesses of different types,
Right.
so that people come and spend their money here.
Yeah, for the surrounding people that are that way they don't have to drive as far. I mean, they're going to drive no matter what. So it looks good. What through your campaign, what have been your experiences in the campaigns?
You know,
Oh, another thing. Now that I say that, the first time you ran, that cost the city money, correct?
yes, sir.
Now
23.
there's four people running. It's
It's going to
costing
be
the
the
city money.
same amount, pretty much.
How do of the four, how do we avoid a runoff? What are the
If,
numbers there?
if people vote for me, if I get 50% plus one vote, we avoid a runoff. But if people, I get 47, Fred gets 23, Rika gets 30, and then Eddie gets whatever. I mean, I'm not doing the math.
Right.
And nobody gets that 50, we have to have a runoff, and it's going to cost pretty much the same amount.
Which is how much?
About 22 to $23,000. That was the last figure, and then uh,
So
you know
about
the
$66,000 for the whole thing if we have a third election.
correct,
Más o
yes,
menos.
yeah, más o menos. So the runoff, typically you have to do it within 30 days of the actual election.
Mm.
So
So for one of you, one of the four candidates to win, you have to win by 50 plus one, 50% plus one.
yes, sir.
And that's it. Well, good luck to you, Israel. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the citizens of Palmers?
Um, Again, I'll be a proactive mayor, open door policy. We can make Palmhurst uh, one of the best cities here in the valley. We can make other cities a little jealous.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
yeah, for sure. So, but I'm a good guy. I have a big heart, and I want to do uh, what I can for the citizens of Palmhurst. I've helped a lot of people throughout my life, and that's something that I take very personally in the healthcare field. I don't discuss it. I just help people that have a need, and it's in my heart. That's who I am. I'm not a perfect man. I've done well in business. I have done not well in business, but you learn from your mistakes, and you grow as a person, and whenever you fall, you get back up, and you go after it. But I think I am the best person for the job.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And we'll see what happens on the elections. When's the early elections, early voting?
So early voting basically starts July 25th
Wh-
through August the 5th. It's probably too
Where's we
close.
voting? Where's that going to be?
So we're going to be voting at Cantu Middle School here off of
To and
Stewart.
from online.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll go out there. We'll get some Mendezville live Instagrams, whatever it is. And I wish you luck, Israel.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you so much for being on the show
Yes, sir.
and the broadcast. Hey, Mendezville. Hold on. Let me get you off the here real quick. Let me get a conclusion, Israel. All right, Mendezville. That was a show for today. We had Israel coming in, and hope you enjoy it. Peace. Let's see who comes up next.